Let's bring in our good friend, Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital. Good morning, Dr. Joe.
Hey, Ray. How you doing this morning?
I am doing well, and you want to go down the tournament trail for us this morning.
Yeah, it's almost time. One of my favorite events, and for us at Sports Medicine, it crosses all the different lines. So I know the Super Bowl's this week, but I was in a hot, sweaty gym last night, and the high schoolers are already thinking about tournament time, and the youth kids, I remember the days, February, March, we start talking about the tournament trail, and then the college people follow closely behind. So a couple of points about the tournament time in basketball. And really fun for me, some memories of getting to coach my kids. I got to coach them for, I always mention I have 6 kids. I coached all of them in basketball. I coached for 18 years, basketball and other sports. But I coached with a lot of dads that really cared about trying to make it a positive experience for the kids. But I got to be totally honest, at the beginning, to some extent, for some of us, it was a little bit of trial and error. And a lot of coaches come in my office and tell me that. So I have a couple tips, 3 tips, pretty simple tips for parents and volunteer coaches about going into coaching and what you might be able to do a better job making that positive experience for your kids. Number 1, a great reference that's out there, and there's a website. It's called Play Like a Champion Today, and obviously it's based out of Notre Dame, but it's a national youth sports and youth coaching and youth activity, and they have just great every single month. They have great notes, and that's actually what tweaked me was I read a couple of their notes for this month heading into tournament time about some things you can do, and they talk about creating a sense of community on your team, making it a positive environment, as I said earlier. So Play Like a Champion Today is a good resource. Number 2, this is the Ray quiz for the week. Who would be, Ray, described as a gentleman of basketball, the basketball ambassador, the national treasure in basketball? And the big clue, he's making his last tournament appearance in the next month after 42 years at Duke.
Oh, Coach K.
Coach K will be retiring this year. So I encourage people, watch Coach K. He really has been a national treasure in basketball. And he wrote several books, but I think he'd admit his best book for helping people that want to be youth coaches and coach their kids or coach as a volunteer coach. His best book, I think, is one called Lead with the Heart. Really good book, and it gives good advice about team building as well as the specifics of strategy and stuff in youth sports. So Coach K, watch him this next month. It's our last crack with him. 46 years as a coach, 42 at Duke, and I think he has been a gentleman throughout, an ambassador for the game. But if you really want to dive deeper, you can get his book, Lead with the Heart. He talks a lot about the first couple of weeks of every new team is set around team building, and he wants his teams to be like a family, a sense of belonging. Every player on that team and the coach should belong. So a lot of talking about we or our or us to make the kids part of the family. He talks about the team deciding to set goals to make sure if they're reaching moral values as well as some of the goals they have on the court. For instance, one he just threw out there was one of his teams decided and voted that they would thank the officials, the referees, after every game and shake hands, line up with them, and that might be the kind of thing that you would do with your team. So that would be number 2. And number 3, after 18 years of personal experience, a couple things that were fun for us, just great memories for me. We had on our basketball teams, a game ball. We'd have a little foam ball that we would give out to one of our players. We'd write down their name, the date, and the opponent we played that day. And it would certainly not be for who had the most points, but you can always find something, a key rebound, a defensive play. Hey, during practice, you made your teammates better this week, and that's why we did well in this game, and not in a patronizing way to the kid of something that's not true. Every kid contributes, and so every kid would end up by the end of the season getting a game ball, and they just loved and hung on to the game ball, and it was a positive experience, and also we were fortunate enough to be in a faith-based league. We would have both teams circle around at midcourt before a game and have a short prayer before and after. So those are some of the great memories that I have about creating these memories for young kids, positive experiences for dads and coaches and kids, and building a basketball family, if you will. So in summary, really, tournament time around the corner. You know how it goes. Survive and advance. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to watch. And I get to watch it, like I said, in the high school setting, in the youth setting. Remember Coach K's book, Lead with the Heart, if you're looking for some really good advice as a coach about how to build a team. And a great resource, Play Like a Champion Today, is very easily accessible on a website. So those are a few things that I wanted to impart that I had to learn the hard way. It took me a lot of years to find some of these resources to help be a better coach and make it a positive experience.
Great information, Joe, and well worth saying for sure. Thanks for the visit, my friend. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thanks, Ray. Have a great week.
You as well. Dr. Joe Congini, Akron Children's Hospital Sports Medicine Center, with us on the Ray Warner Morning Show.